Oh, welcome to Uncle Peter's kitchen, where your taste buds will be a twitching, twitch, twitch, twitch. Oh, we'll have lots of fun. Share some secrets when we're done. Secrets. Shh. Oh, welcome to Uncle Peter's kitchen. Gobble, 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 says the turkey. We're here around Thanksgiving time, and we're Thanksgiving house at the Mill House. Now, kind of gentle people, I celebrate Thanksgiving because two of my ancestors were the original pilgrims. Oh, yes, it's true, it's true. Mr. Warren and Mr. Fuller were my pilgrims. They escaped Holland because they couldn't go back to England. They'd be slaughtered, and their families were coming to duchy. But they came here to celebrate their faith. And it's a good thing our Native American brothers and sisters fed them and helped them. That's the only way they survived. They were these smelly immigrants stuck onto this little ship, and thank goodness the people of America helped them, the First Nations people. We are sitting in the Dawnland in the state of Maine. This is the Dawnland. It is Native American First Nations property. We have deeds and we supposedly own things, which I don't believe in owning things you can be the caretaker of. So don't you forget that, people. Now, the other thing about our Thanksgiving feast is thank goodness for Squanto. He helped the Pilgrims grab the feast, but he had been a slave. Those horrible people, white people from England beforehand, abducted him, gave diseases, and they had what was called the Great Dying. And so many indigenous people died, they had to reconfigure their tribes. So you go look it up. Then, the other thing is, it was a harvest festival, like in Britain. But 50 years later, that John Winthrop slaughtered over 700 people in Mystic, Connecticut, and had a party. It's a war party. They called it Thanksgiving. Skip ahead to Lincoln, he has a Thanksgiving. So I celebrate Thanksgiving and I honor my ancestors and I give thanks to the Creator for the bounty of the world and the bounty of the field. And some of our brothers and sisters on earth don't. They call it a day of mourning. And let's face it, if you were turned into a slave and your ancestors slaughtered, you'd be in mourning too. Kudos for them for remembering without being bitter, too bitter and angry, letting that go. Well, I love you madly. Oh, since I'm a descendant of the Pilgrims, I'm entitled. There's my pilgrim hat. Mwah! Now, we have to go off to Mrs. Smith's farm and get the prize-winning bird. Mwah! Off we go. On my soul, we're here at Mrs. Smith's getting our Thanksgiving bird. Well, I used to raise the birds, but I'm not around to water them anymore. So I always come to Mrs. Smith's. And how many did you say you did up yesterday?
54 turkeys yesterday.
Oh, my aching arms. Terrible. Yes. Did you hand pluck or do you have a machine?
Both. We use the machine for the body, but we hand pluck the wings.
Oh, my aching fingers. It's terrible. Well, that's a lot of birds. What was the biggest one?
33.2.
Oh, that greedy little sucker. When did you start them, in June or July?
They were hatched on July 8th.
Oh, my soul. Now, did you do fat and finish at the end? Or?
They had corn and oats to give them a nice little finish.
Ooh, corn and oats. Whoever likes the corn and the oats, and the turkeys like it the best.
Some broccoli and kale and anything.
All the green things.
Treats. Yes.
And that turkey dressing, not the kind we're going to make tomorrow, but the stuff we put on the garden is rich.
Yes. Grows really nice plants for next year.
Very good. This is a turkey pan. It's a small pan. I got it at the dump for free, and I just used my scouring pad. It's all ready to go. You see, this is Maine, so it's cold. And the snow outside, so they're not going to a little hay string here. Little baling twine goes along with that's what a real. That's a 30-pound. That's what a real turkey looks like, people. This is what you do in the country. You have a butcher party. How many people have the party yesterday?
I think we had 12 people here.
Oh my soul! I wish I'd been there. I would have brought the whoopie pies to eat. Is that the 25-pound mine?
Let me look to see.
No name on it.
That's 25.3. This can be yours.
That's my
88.50.
Sweet girl, you want to get that?
Oh, I can.
Oh, you don't want to lift that here.
I can lift it.
Can you? Yeah. Don't argue with a farmer's wife, because she hits hard. Look.
There. Just about fits in it.
That's just about fits. Look at those drumsticks. That's a prize-winning turkey, and we're not even in Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol.
Let me get your giblets.
Oh, I gotta have the giblets on the necks.
Yeah.
Oh, my soul, we're here with the poor little Henny Pennies. Thomas and Thomasina had to, sacrifice themselves, so we'll be happy on bird butchering day. It's
Killing
very
cones
easy.
there, and then they go in the hot water.
The hot water,
And they
because
go in the plucker.
loosens the feathers up a
Yes.
little bit for about a minute or so.
Yep, and they go in the plucker.
You see the plucker, go stand by, they don't know what they're looking at.
Gotta
You
cover it
just
up.
hold the bird there and the feathers go brrrr.
And then we
And
hang
we
them
hang
up.
'em up.
Hang
Hang
'em
'em
up
up.
over here to finish
This
plucking.
is the scaffold
Right.
for your hand pluck.
We dump them in barrels of cold
The
water.
cold water because you don't want anything to spoil.
And then we take them out and put them on the cutting board and clean them out.
Mm-hmm.
And then put them in another bucket of clean water.
Yep.
And then I carry them in the house for the final rinse and final picking, if anything that needs to be done, where they're bagged and weighed and tagged.
Yeah, very good. And the innards go feed the coy dogs back to nature.
Yes, absolutely.
Isn't it doing our part here in Gorham, Maine? It's about 30 minutes from Newfield from the mill. And look, Mrs. Smith has found an extra bag of necks and giblets. So we're going to have the delicious Thanksgiving feast. People don't know what's good for them, what ails them. It's the giblets and the neck meat. Delicious. Oh, look at the big bunnies. Those taste delicious too. And look, it's just
These
such
are
a sweetie
fiber
little
bunnies,
thing.
Pat the bunny.
And I want a sweater made out of this. And listen, they have a fiber factory here, and spinning. They do spinning the old-fashioned way with it's a drop. What do you call it?
Spinning wheel.
We have drop spindle and
Drop
spinning.
spindle
And we
and
will
the
have
spinning.
machinery coming this week in our fiber mill. You'll have to
Oh!
come see the mill.
Oh, people. And what's the address for the fiber mill?
It's at 50 Wilson Road, right in our backyard.
Right in the backyard. If you want some tried and truth, authentic Maine crafted, he's too pretty to turn into Huss and Pepper.
No, he's a fiber bunny. And this wool is 8 times warmer than wool from a sheep.
Oh, my
And
soul.
very soft. You know, our pigs are over here where we get that nice fat back for cooking.
Oh, my
Let's
soul,
take
the
it to
pigs.
Maine.
Let's go see some hogs, people. Oh, my soul, look at those hogs.
That's pork, bacon, ham, and sausage.
Pork, bacon, ham, and sausage. They're getting up. They think they're going to get fed. These are beautiful hogs. Pork, bacon. Oh, my soul. Well, all right. Goodbye, little hoggy woggies. Oh, my soul. Yummy. Thank you, God. We're back from Mrs. Smith's farm where we picked up our Thanksgiving turkey. Isn't this one a cunning one in his house train, too? And we have our beautiful corn. Well, I'm going to teach you how to make the heirloom stuffing or dressing. But this is not the kind of dressing that comes out of the back end of a cow when you put on the corn of the rhubarb to make it better. This is our delicious dressing. Now, we're starting over here. We have to have a big vat of boiling stock. Now, I use my roaster pan, and I posted the recipe for you. We've got the good old bacon fat. That's one of the secrets, people. All right? And children, you need to stay away from this hot vat because it could be very unhealthy for you. And we have our big bowls of stock, and complete with the fat. You see that fat? That's what's going to make it good. No argument, you people. I'm adding a stick or so of the Cabot's butter. It's just about the best you can get. And we're going to bring it to a boil because you want your stock boiling, you see, when you're making, quick into the recycle, when you're making your delicious, wonderful dressing, stuffing. Now we've got about the 3 pounds of the onions. We're going to add the 3 pounds of the onions into this stock stuff. Ooh, those are strong onions, but I'm not crying. They're tears of joy because I get to celebrate Thanksgiving in this wonderful country. And we want a big stock of the celery, you see. We want to add that to the stock because this will soften it up, but you don't want it soft and soggy. And don't use your food processor because that'll mush it up. All right, there we go. My recipe's about 5 loaves of bread. I'll use the other half of the roasting pan as a vessel, you see. And what I do, I don't toast the bread. That doesn't do me any good. I just cube it up like this. Now, if you're a thrifty Yankee, you get yours at the thrift store. I use lots of the white bread like we grew up in the 70s Well, we didn't know that a whole grain was supposed to be good for what ails you. And then we're going to add the premium saltines. We used to use the Royal Lunch Crackers, but you can't get them here in Maine anymore. So I use the premium with the salted tops, the premium, not the knockoff brand. Now, how do we get these things crushed? Well, this is what I do. I cut this, and then I give it the old wampa chompa. Wampa, 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 chompa, 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 boom, 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 boom. And in it goes. Now, that's going to add a nice texture, you see. Then you see, we have this. It's the potatoes. Grandmother would always scrounge in the refrigerator for the potatoes. But I don't have any leftovers, so I'm going to use the instant potato flakes. It is a very good, it makes a good texture for the dressing, you see. Put them in there. And then my recipe calls for a box and a half of the bells. And it was just $2.25, and now it's gone up to almost $3, $2.99. Those bell people, come on, you have faithful customers. They're making a lot of money. That's more than a 2%, 3% hike in the price. And then we're gonna add the good old black pepper. This is from the McCormick Company. I like the McCormick Company stuff because they're always consistent with their products. They should hire me to represent them because McCormick is good and Cabot is excellent. So I'm gonna add some black pepper. Oh yeah. Now, we don't want to salt too early because the stock has some salt in it already, you see. But we'll put a tablespoon of salt or so. Frequent tasting, I'm afraid, we'll have to do. And then we have an additional sage, you see. We add a good dollop of the sage, a couple tablespoons at least. See what? You don't want enough to turn it quite green, but you want it to be good. I'm gonna just mix this up with my paws that I've washed with the soap. I'm gonna bring that to a boiling, and then we're gonna add it, you see. See, isn't that good? Mixed with my paws. Now, one of the secrets that some of you people can't seem to understand is you want to put the more unseemly parts of the turkey into your dressing. Well, it adds flavor. These are the things some people like. We've got the gizzard, we've got the hearts, we've got the livers, and of course the neck meat. And we're gonna use it, and we're gonna put it right in that food processor that I got for free at the dump. Oh, we gotta add a little liquid, I guess. See, it's sort of pureed. And you see, that's gonna add the flavor and the texture to our delicious dressing. I'm gonna put it right in here to the boiling vat of stock. And you do-gooders out there that don't you think you like dressing, you haven't had mine. It's so good you lose all self-control and slap your mother. And then we have the neck meat. Well, the neck meat is delicious, it's a dark meat. So what I do, I put it in the crock pot, it all falls apart. See, it's stringy, it's neck meat. If you have venison or deer neck, it's stringy. You put it in the roaster pan and you make the mincemeat. Betsy, my sister B, is gonna make the mincemeat on Saturday. She's got a couple deer necks. We have Mother's recipe. So, when I get this all done, people, we'll come back and we'll add the wonderful crumbs to the stock. Oh my soul! Well, we've got everything all smushed up and I've added it to the big vat of stock. Delicious. Now it's all boiling and we're gonna add our breadcrumbs and our potato and our cracker supplies to this delicious vat of slumgullion stock. Now, if you're like me, all year long when you cook a bird or something, you save your stock, you see. And you see what a big fat vat of stock that is? And it's got the onions, and it's got the unmentionable parts that some of you people don't think to like, but you're eating a dead bird, so you might eat all of it in honor of the bird, or else it died in vain. And this makes this delicious. So what's the matter with you? Now we're gonna add these, you see. And sometimes a challenge to get it all in there. So, gonna do what we can do, people. The secret is that you want boiling water. Why boiling? Well, it softens everything, number one. And number two, it brings the flavor of the herbs and the spices out, you see. Isn't this gonna be wonderful? The good thing about big vats of stuffing, people, is that you can, after your feast is over, you can freeze it, You can bring it out. Bring it out in January for New Year's Day. Bring it out in February for the Valentine's feast. Or any time at all. Or if somebody passes away, you can cook a turkey and quick take the stuffing out of the freezer and stuff it, and you can have something nice to bring comfort to the family. Now see, isn't this a beautiful vat of stuffing? Oh my soul, we gotta work this around real good. We'll be back in a minute when it's all nice and thick. Ain't that some good Roscoe? Roscoe's up in heaven. I love Roscoe. Maybe a little salty. Well, take some extra blood pressure medicine, you people, for tomorrow. Delicious. You see, this is the prize-winning dressing. Not the stuff you put on the rhubarb patch. It's what you put in the bird. Now, take my advice with your bird. Before you put it in the bird, you want to put it in the bird. Put it in the microwave and get it warm. And give the bird a warm water enema, a warm water bath, you say. Get it nice and warm, you say. And then you put the stuffing in, and then you put it in the oven with the cabbage on the top and brown it up delicious. I wanted to share with you something special. This is my special stuffing spoon. My brother bought it for me decades ago. Let's see if it works. Woo! A victory, we should say. Now, I'm going to put this out on the peace porch because here in Maine it's freezing. Not quite. And this will keep it nice and cold, and nobody will get the disease. It doesn't have any eggs in it. There's nothing. It's just got the good vegetable and meat stalks. It really is prize-winning dressing. Grandmother would be proud of me. Pat me on the shoulder and kiss me. Let's go in the other room. I want to show you and share with you the Thanksgiving table and the banquet and the pies. My soul. Now it's time for letters to Uncle. If I can read this scrawny little letters. Dear Uncle, how huge was your biggest ever tom turkey? Well, I used to grow the turkeys. I think I mentioned that before. It wasn't a tom turkey. We had to change her name. It was 46 pounds. We called her Thomasina. Anyway, I had to roast it in the oven and build a big tent around it. After that, I had a special pan made, which we don't have to use this year. We only have 25 pounds, not 46 pounds. It was delicious. We were all afraid it was going to be tough. It was tender. Oh, it was so good. But beyond that, I just thought that turkey was rivaled the size of our good, stocky Maine babies. It was a good big turkey, and healthy Maine babies are good and strong. Anyway, thank you. Oh, the next one is, Dear Uncle, you always honor your ancestors. Do you have any pilgrim ancestors? Signed, Pilgrim Pursuer in Porter. Ugh. Well, I do, and I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, Richard Warren and Edwin Fuller. They came over on the Mayflower, and they survived that first winter. Less than half survived. But I'm descended from their children who came on different ships after 1620. And anyway, through my grandmother Stickney, she was a Williams, her maiden name was a Haywood, and her mother was, it goes through her line. It's very fascinating, at least to me, who's a history buff. So thank you so kindly. This last one, we're running out of time. Dear Uncle, you're so musical. Do you have any music for children? Signed, Musical in Milo. I'm so glad you asked. You know, before our Thanksgiving feast, we all sing. We have hymns that I've copied, changed some of the words because I just cannot agree with a few of them. So you have to sing what's in your heart. But we have the wonderful children's song. I'll sing my favorite. I learned it from my friend Mrs. Lowell, who's now a retired kindergarten teacher, and I had her daughter, Erin, when she was a senior in high school in Derry High School. Erin's retired now, but I'm not. Anyway, here it is. There's a great big turkey down in Grandpa's farm, and he thinks he is very gay. He spreads his wing to the great big fun, and he fluts all around all gay. Rhymes with, you can see him gobble at the girls and boys gobble, 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 gobble. He thinks he's singing when he makes that noise. but he'll change his tune in another way. Upon Thanksgiving Day. That's our turkey song of the year. And every year I call it Mrs. Lowe on Thanksgiving and we sing to each other. Oh my soul, I'm so blessed and grateful. I'm here in the dining room. I'm going to have the family over for the Thanksgiving. They're going to be arriving. But I wanted to show you my prize-winning pies. This is the pumpkin pie made with the pumpkin from the One Pie, which is canned in Paris, South Paris, Maine. It's a good Maine product, you see. And over here, we have the prize-winning custard pie based on our Maine cookbook, Marjorie Standard, 6 eggs and a quarter milk. Well, I'm increased it. It's delicious. And then, of course, we have the mincemeat pie made with a good old venison. And it's delicious. And dear Grammy Dan gave me the mincemeat for Thanksgiving. I just love Grammy Dan. She's so awesome. It's going to be a prize-winning pie. Titillate my taste buds. But I want to give you, I'm in a dilemma. What will Uncle do? Up high on the shelf, you see, I have my vast array of the turkey platters. And every year we draw a lottery to pick which turkey platter we shall use. Up here we have the lovely ironstone ones, and we have traditional turkey platters. We have Roxy's platter, she's my great-great-great-grandmother, and we have the calf's platter where the baby calf was put on around 1894, and another platter. Anyway, I want you to think about these things that you have. You keep them clean and polished. Now, children, on Thanksgiving, you be extra nice to whoever's in charge and make sure you offer to carry your plate to the kitchen sink and maybe wipe the dishes or even wash the dishes and be grateful. And all of you people out there that perhaps don't have a system of belief, be grateful in your heart for one another and love one another. And remember our beautiful Native American friends who were friends to lots of our ancestors, and we didn't treat them very nicely, lots of us, though my pilgrim ancestors kept the peace for 50 years. Until next time, I just want to send, I love you all, be at peace, be what you value.